Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the Summer of Lovecraft. After another slog of a decline last week in Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, we come in having lost the Summer of Lovecraft 2-0, and the games make that score look deceptively close. This week, we're heading into Miskatonic Museum to play Elder Sign, but we also need to replace 2 investigators. Tony and Charlie had both been retired coming out of Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, and to salvage this mess, I'm going to bring in 2 of my most trusted investigators, whom you'll most likely see on the channel again for Christmas in Arkham later this year. If you remember back when I first told the story to set the scene for the Summer of Lovecraft, which seems largely irrelevant now that the entire original team has been wiped out, there had been an Egyptian exhibit in the museum. That exhibit has long since fled the museum, so now we can concentrate on the final battle with Nyarlathotep. History is on our side in this game. The last time we played against Nyarlathotep in Elder Sign, it was after the end of the Dream Eaters campaign, with which I debuted the gaming side of the channel. Now, granted, in that game we had made some thematic changes to make the game fit the campaign a little bit better, but we still ended up winning that game. Anyway, let's go meet the cast of characters, and we'll start once again with Nyarlathotep. So here's our first glance at Nyarlathotep. We'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit, your other in. There we go. Okay, so we can see here that we need 9 Doom to wake Nyarlathotep up. And every time we pass over one of these monster icons, it'll spawn another monster on the board. And we, as part of setup, we had to add the mask monsters to the bag, which I did that when I was setting up last night. We need 11 Elder Signs to lock him away and win the game. When we get into I'll explain a little bit more about how this works, but when we get into the Ancient One final battle, or if we get that far, we'll need to roll 2 terror on Nyarlathotep to get the attack, to make a successful attack against him. And when he attacks, each investigator has to either discard a clue token or be devoured. So we'll need to protect clue tokens unless we start flying through being able to seal away Nyarlathotep. But anyway, it takes 9 Doom to wake him up. We need 11 Elder Signs to seal him away. But anyway, that's the long and short of Nyarlathotep. So let's go meet the investigators, and we'll start off with one of our replacement investigators. Alright, so you're probably first noticing 2 slightly different artworks. You're noticing the artwork on here versus the art over here on the card that I'm using. The mini card is actually from Arkham Horror, the card game. The reason I'm using that rather than either the token, actually there are a couple of reasons why I'm using the mini card from the card game rather than the actual token that comes with Elder Sign. The first reason is because the tokens for Elder Sign are very small. I'm not going to go digging one out, but basically it's a little tiny square, which would be hard to place to navigate the board with, whereas using the mini card from the card game actually works out very nicely because they can also serve as an activation marker of sorts, where it's colored on the back if they have yet to go, or black and white when they've already gone for the turn. So that's very handy. But anyway, our replacement for Tony is one of my trusted guns, Jenny Barnes the Dilettante. And once again, per the rules of the Summer of Lovecraft, you can see she starts with a max of 6 sanity and 4 health, but because of the rules of the Summer of Lovecraft, our investigators are starting down 1 and 1. Once again, as I mentioned in the Arkham Horror 2nd Edition video when we resolved this part of setup, that will only happen now during setup. When we heal later on in the game, everyone will heal back to their normal maxes. So as we heal later on, Jenny will heal back up to 6 sanity and 4 health. But anyway, so there's her mini card. So once again, there's her mini card on the front when she hasn't gone yet, and flipped over when she has. So I'll bring her over toward the entrance. Actually, I'm not going to bring her to the entrance just yet because we're going to have to go through that a little bit later. But anyway, Jenny's special ability is Trust Fund. So at the start of the resolution phase, after she moves to an adventure, she can discard a common item, a clue token, or spell to add the yellow and red dice to her pool, unless they're locked. So if we get them locked, obviously we can't use them. But she starts off with a common item and a spell, so let's take a look at both of those. For a common item, Jenny has a cross before rolling discard to become blessed, which I'll probably do right away, so I'll go ahead and explain how the blessing and the curses work in this game. So there are 2 extra dice that came with one of the first expansions. I believe these came with Unseen Forces, one of the earlier expansions for Elder Sign. So anyway, they're related to these 2 dice. If you're blessed, you get the white die, which just acts as an extra green die in an adventure. The cursed die is also an extra green, basically also an extra green, but unlike being an extra, the curse will eat a result. So for instance, I'll grab the other green dice to demonstrate. So if we have a roll, if we end up with that as a roll, we did get a 1 research, so the curse would actually eat that result before we'd be able to go through the rest of the dice to determine whether or not we completed an adventure. Now, as far as how you get rid of a blessing or a curse, you get rid of a blessed card if you fail in an adventure. You get rid of a curse if you succeed at one. So, more food for thought there for how to handle those. And anyway, our spell that we get is Bind Monster. After rolling, discard to defeat 1 monster. So if we get something particularly nasty on the board, we can just go ahead and take it out right away. But anyway, that will do it for Jenny. Now let's move over to Diana, who actually survived 2nd edition. Diana Stanley was one of our 2 survivors of our Arkham Horror 2nd edition disaster against Nyarlathotep. So she's the redeemed cultist. She was also a part of Christmas in Arkham last year. And she was actually a pretty good investigator in that game for us. Now, Diana was a random replacement for Silas, who had bitten it in Eldritch Horror. Jenny and our other replacement investigator, however, were both handpicked, as you probably guessed when I said I was bringing in 2 of my most trusted investigators to salvage this mess. But anyway, Diana Stanley, the redeemed cultist, maxes out at 4 health and 6 sanity, but she starts down 1 and 1 on both of those. And again, we'll heal back up to our normal maxes. But anyway, her special ability is Dark Insight. Each time Diana defeats a monster, she gains a clue token at the end of the resolution phase. And funnily enough, she starts off with a clue token, which you can use to reroll any number of dice before you complete a task. And a spell. So Diana starts off with Third Eye. Discard after you roll to change any number of results to lore results. So if we get an adventure that has a lot of lore requirements on it, we can use that to clear them out. But anyway, that will do it for Diana. Now let's go meet a replacement for Charlie. Replacing Charlie is the psychologist, Carolyn Fern. Similar to Jenny, she maxes out at 6 health and 4 sanity, but once again, per the rules of the Summer of Lovecraft, she'll start down 1 and 1. Although somebody's not going to be down 1 sanity for long as we take a look at Carolyn's special ability, her psychology. Once per day at the start of any player's turn, Carolyn may cause any one investigator of her choice, including herself, to regain 1 sanity. So we can definitely keep our sanity more under control. Our stamina we'll have to be a little bit more careful of, but minor rambling aside. Once again, I have Carolyn's mini card in the shot. I didn't mention it, but I did have Diana's mini card in the shot as well. So anyway, she starts off with a common item and a unique item. So looking at her common item, first we have research materials. After rolling, she can discard to change 1 die to its highest investigation result. So the number with a magnifying glass on it would be the investigation result. And then for her unique item, Carolyn has an obsidian statue which just gives her gives her the red die. And then her mini card right over here. But anyway, that will do it for Carolyn. Now let's go meet our other survivor from 2nd edition, Akachi. As far as I'm concerned, the only investigator who was worth anything in our 2nd edition disaster was Akachi Unyeli, the shaman. Like Carolyn and Jenny, she maxes out at 6 sanity and 4 stamina, but, say it with me kids, according to the rules of the Summer of Lovecraft, she starts down 1 and 1 because of the loss in 2nd edition. But anyway, her special ability is Earth Speaker. Once per day, when an Otherworld card is drawn, one investigator of Akachi's choice may regain 1 and 1. So we can definitely keep our sanity high thanks to Carolyn and the occasional help from Akachi. But anyway, Akachi starts off with a unique item and a spell. So we'll take a look at her unique item first. Akachi has a silver key which gives her the red die. And for her spell, come on. Revelation of Script, which lets her secure a die. So, yeah, that will do it for Akachi. Now let's start working our way over to the board, and we'll start with what you can do at the entrance. An investigator can always choose to pass their turn at the entrance, but there's some pretty powerful stuff that they can do at the entrance. If they wish to receive first aid, they can heal either 1 sanity or 1 stamina for free. Pay 2 trophies to fully regain either one, or pay 4 trophies to fully heal both. They can search the lost and found, which lets them roll a green die and consult the chart. So on an investigation result, they lose either a sanity or a stamina. On a scroll, they gain a clue token. A peril, that's a lore. Peril gives them a common item, and a terror gains them a spell. They can buy a souvenir. 1 trophy for a clue, 2 trophies for a common item, 3 for a unique item, 4 for a spell, 5 for an ally, or 10 for an elder sign, and we really are going to need to keep a careful eye on that. But anyway, that is the entrance, so I'll go ahead now and I'll bring all of our investigators over to the entrance so that they're all set to go. Nice and easy. And then we'll move down to see what our starting adventures look like. Okay, so the adventures are actually flipped face up because I'd gone over them off camera, but we'll go ahead and take a quick look at them. So, first up we have our Test of Faith for 2 trophies. You need 6 investigation, then you need 3 and a terror and a peril. Succeeding gets you blessed, failing gets you cursed. Next up, we have Vermin in the Pipes for 2 trophies. You need 2 separate instances of 3 investigation, then 3 and a peril. Succeeding gets you a clue and 2 common items. Failing loses you a health. Then we have Haunted by a Shadowy Figure. On a terror effect, a monster appears. So what a terror means is if you roll dice and you get a terror effect, but you're not able to complete the adventure, this goes off. And there's a priority spot for a monster to go. So just the way that works is when a monster spawns, it goes there, not initially spawn a monster here. So assuming nothing else goes awry, we need a peril and a terror to clear it. Clearing this gets us a monster, a clue, a unique item, and an elder sign. Failing loses 2 sanity. This might be a good one to try to go clear right away just to get on the board with a quick elder sign. Then we have never mind. Then we have a late night break-in for 1 trophy. On a terror, discard 1 trophy of your choice. You need 3 investigation, then another 6. Succeeding gets you a clue, failing loses you a health. Then we have Forgotten Knowledge. For 1 trophy, you need a lore result, then a terror and 8 research. Succeeding gets you a common item and 2 spells. Failing loses you a sanity. And then Vision of Demise for 2 trophies. After successfully resolving this adventure, look at the top 3 cards of the Mythos deck. Discard 1 and return the other 2 to the top of the deck in any order. You need 2 lore results and then 2 terror. Succeeding gets you an elder sign and a spell. Failing loses you a sanity. But anyway, now that we're all set up top, let's go ahead and take a look at our first Mythos card for the game. The stars align, adding 1 doom to the doom track for a dark future. Lock the yellow die for today. Okay, so this round, the yellow die is not available to be used, but we do add a doom to the doom track, which I'll have to flip this over. I hate this tray so much. But anyway, there's our first doom going on the board, and we get our first monster, which now actually spawns right there. Hopefully we don't get a whammy here. Alright, so we find... Oh, Joe, I think that's a witch, isn't it? Yes, for 1 trophy. She crumbled the leaves into the glass vial, and the room began to go dark. And we need 2 skulls. We need 2 peril results to clear that. So that's a bit of a problem, but anyway, now I think we're ready to move into our first round. Looking at the board for Jenny, who will be our first player. Visions of Demise, I'm probably best leaving that to Diana, since she's got the spell that lets us change any number of dice to lore results. And I think Jenny's actually well suited to go deal with that witch up there, so I'll bring her down to Haunted by a Shadowy Figure, and then we'll move down and see how Jenny gets on with that. We've got the dice tower and shot. I will have Jenny discard the cross to become blessed. That'll give her this card, which once again will give her the white die, which will act as an extra green over the course of the game. So it helps her kind of get around the lock on the yellow die for today. But anyway, I would prefer to get the skull, to get the peril and the terror result out of the way. That way I can use Bind Monster to defeat the witch and get done with this adventure pretty quickly. Oh joy, and we did get the terror result, so because we're not able to clear an adventure, we do get a monster appearing, and this one can... no, there's actually another priority spot for it on the late night break-in, so we've got to draw a monster for that. Oh boy. What monster? Oh, this is one of our mask monsters. Oh joy. Come on. Focus. There we go. The Black Man. He opened his book, but I would not look at it. Return this marker to the cup if we defeat it, and it's a mask monster, so those went into Nyarlathotep. But anyway, now we end up needing 9 investigation, and we have to advance the clock. So that just made the late night break-in very difficult. But now we have to discard a die, so I'll discard a 1 research, and then because I failed at a task, I'll focus the terror on Jenny. Which basically locks it for the turn and I can use it later on. But I can only focus 1 die per turn, so we've got to get another roll here. Okay, that'll work. So there's the skull, there's the peril, and the terror, and then I'll discard Bind Monster after rolling to defeat a monster. So the witch is defeated, which means Jenny has actually cleared that adventure. So we'll get all of that out of the way. We'll bring the monster over to Jenny as a monster trophy, so that's a trophy of 1 for her. And then the Hunted by a Shadowy Figure will give her another trophy value of 2, which will give her a clue, a unique item, so Jenny will find a warding statue, which gives her the red die. And we need a monster, but we need an adventure first because it can go on the adventure coming in. So we find Mysterious Puzzle Box for 2 trophies. On entry, 2 monsters appear. We need a research result to clear that, a lore result to clear that. Clearing it gets us an Elder Sign and a monster. Failing gives us loses us a sanity and 2 health. And then the flavor text on Haunted by a Shadowy Figure, which I'll go through after I clear them this time. Memories flooded my thoughts when I saw the thing. I knew that I deserved the awful death that it would bring. Joy. Alright, so now we need another monster. Alright, needing a lore or a terror isn't bad, but we have a Bayaki for 2. What was the flavor text on the witch? I'll do flavor text after I defeat monsters, after I clear everything. She crumpled the leaves into the glass vial, and the room began to go dark. Alright, so looking at this Bayaki, it's not going to make an adventure too terrible. So I think I'm going to put it... Ugh, we've got tasks everywhere. I guess I'll put it on the Vision of Demise. Although that's where I was getting ready to send Diana next turn, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Not too much ahead of myself there, though. So anyway, in the clock phase, we go to 3 o'clock, and that's over to Diana, who will indeed... I will stick to the plan with Diana and bring her down to the Vision of Demise. So let's move down to Diana and see how she's getting on. Scrolls and terror, please, on this one, Diana. Let's not have anything crazy here. Oh, I almost forgot. Clearing that adventure also got us our first Elder Sign, so now we're up to 1 of 11. As I was saying, Diana, scrolls and terror, please. Well, I think I'm going to burn the 3rd eye right away to turn 2 of those skulls to turn 2 of those peril into lore. That's lore and lore. And we'll clear that right away. We do actually, yeah. We'll probably use the clue on this next one. We can actually use the clue to defeat the Bayaki, so she'll get a clue back at the end of this resolution phase. We'll spend the clue to reroll. We'll keep the terror, but we'll reroll the other 2 dice. I probably should have spent the clue first, but hindsight, as they say. No dice. So we'll keep the 1 research, 1 investigation, focus the terror on Diana. Then we'll go ahead and roll this. We need a terror right here. Which we don't get. We get all the scrolls, but we don't get the terror. So Diana at least gets the trophy on the Bayaki, which is 2 trophies, actually. I narrowly dodged the beast's grasp as it swooped towards me and then to the high window. So she gets that as a trophy value of 2. But failing that adventure loses her a sanity, which isn't good because that puts her down to 2 sanity already. She's the one whose sanity we're probably going to have to protect the most on this team, but random using aside, we'll probably leave the dice tower in shot. But before I get that far, we're at 6 o'clock on the clock phase. Diana flips over, and we go to Carolyn at 6 o'clock, who... Decisions. What do we do? Well, I think Carolyn is actually going to go... I think Carolyn's going to go to... Carolyn's actually going to go to... Well, at the start of her turn, Carolyn is going to heal Diana for that one sanity she just lost, to keep her at 3. Because remember, we need to protect her sanity pretty fiercely. Now, as for where Carolyn's actually going, I think she's going to go to Forgotten Knowledge for her turn. And then we'll zoom in on Carolyn. Alright, so I think Carolyn is going to toss the obsidian statue to get the red die. Just because we're going to need a lot of research on this one. So I can use her research materials to get me the red die, or to get me more research if I need it. But let's see what we've got here. Let's see here. Well, even using it right now would give me a result of 6, and that won't help. So I'll toss a peril, and I'll focus the terror on Carolyn. Thankfully, there is no terror effect on this adventure. Then we'll roll again. That's a wild card. The question is, do I trust my ability to roll a lore again? I think we actually just take that and trust. I think the better play here is to take the terror off Carolyn, use this for investigation, and then trust that I'm able to roll the lore again, that lore again in 2 dice rolls. That's unfortunate, but there's really no help for it. We'll discard the peril. And we come up short. That's rather unfortunate. Which actually loses Carolyn a sanity, and you're not off to a great start. So yeah, that will do it for Carolyn. Clock phase brings us to 9 o'clock, and I'm going to go see what in the world is going on with Akachi, or with my apartment. So it turns out that ringing I was hearing was actually a Facebook call from my brother-in-law wanting to wish me a late happy birthday, which was yesterday, but I'm slightly getting off track. So 9 o'clock to Akachi. What does Akachi have right now? She's got a spell and the red die. So I think we're going to bring her down to... I think we're going to bring her down to Forgotten Knowledge and come join Carolyn. So I can use Carolyn to focus a die on... I can use Carolyn to focus an additional die as well. So let's drop down to Akachi and see if we can resolve this adventure. We'll go ahead and toss the silver key to get the red die for Akachi, because we're probably going to need it. We've got 2 foci and a lock spell here. So let's see what we can do with this. That is another research. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but I don't have the terror. So I'll discard the peril and I'll focus the 3 research on Carolyn. Actually, let me look at this. I think I can still do it, but I've got to start getting some of these results. Nope. And we'll roll that back through the tower. Let's see, I would need... This is not going well. Let's see, it's going to take me at least 3 dice, so I can discard one more. It's going to take me at least 3 dice to get the research I need. So I've got to have something I can work with here. Well, there's the lore. Terror, we got 3. Yeah, I think we can still do this, but we need all of these to hit, which I'm going to secure the red die to... Yeah, we can still do this. I'm going to secure the red die to the Revelation of Script, which was on a wild. So I need to get a terror and at least... So I need to get a terror and at least... Well, I need to get either a terror or... I need to get a terror and at least 1 research on these dice. Which that, unfortunately, is not. So Akachi will fail this adventure as well, which is unfortunate. But we still have a red die locked if we need it, and we probably will. So Akachi will lose 1 sanity as well, go down to 4. We'll get that out of shot. Then we'll go into midnight, and we'll move back up top for the Mythos phase. Our next Mythos card makes us add 1 doom to the to the doom track. So that brings us up to 2 doom, and yes, I'm going to have to replace this tray at some point. I'll go ahead and start flipping everybody back over as well, because we'll be into a new round here shortly. And science departs. Common items and clues can't be used today. So the yellow die is now unlocked. Not that it's really going to matter in the grand scheme of things. So that's a new round. Oh, and Diana gained her clue token from defeating the Bayaki in her turn. So where does that leave me with Jenny? Jenny is going to go... So now we're into a new round, and Jenny, where are we sending Miss Barnes this turn? Well, I'm starting to get the feeling that we're chasing... results a little bit here. So I think we're actually going to bring her to Visions of Demise. Visions of Demise? Or do we bring her down to Forgotten Knowledge? Because she's going to have a boatload of dice. Plus the red one that Akachi has locked. I think we will bring her down to Forgotten Knowledge, where Carolyn and Akachi are waiting to help her out. So let's zoom right back down to Forgotten Knowledge. With 7 dice, plus the red die locked, Jenny should have a pretty good chance at clearing this. I was thinking about discarding the clue to give her the yellow die, but with the red die already locked, that wouldn't do much for her anyway. Plus, we can't use it. Well, here's the thing. We can't use it, per se, to reroll dice, but we could discard it to Jenny's ability, but we're not going to. Anyway, let's see what we do here. Well, I think if we take the red die off of Akachi and use it as a terror, we'll get that done. And then we have 4 dice to roll 1 lore. And we just rolled 3 here, but that's not going to tell us anything about whether or not we can get this done in 4 rolls. But we get it done in one. Jenny, being blessed, is really doing work for us early in the game. So we get a common item and 2 spells, which is more ammunition for her trust fund. So Jenny's common item first is a 38 revolver, which gives her the yellow die. And for spells, first up she has Voice of Ra. After rolling, discard to change 1 die to the result of your choice. So that's giving us a little mitigation. And an alchemical process with a trophy value of 5. Nice. So we'll get those out of the way, and that's giving Jenny another trophy value. So she is up right now. She's actually up to 9 trophies right now, so I do need to keep an eye on potentially buying an Elder Sign. But anyway, all 3 of these ladies move back to the entrance. Jenny is the one who will get flipped over because she's done. And coming out will be Strange Robberies for 3 trophy value. Entry, lose 1 stamina and 1 sanity. To complete it, you need 4 investigation. Then you need 2 peril and a lore. Succeeding gets you a common item and an Elder Sign. Failing adds a doom to the doom track. So that will do it for Jenny. I'll get all of this out of shot. And then we will be 3 o'clock to Diana. And looking at Diana's board, looking at the board right now, I think Diana is going to move. I think Diana is going to move. Where's she going, though? We need to keep an eye on her sanity. I think we're going to move her over to Test of Faith, actually. Maybe getting her blessed. And actually, before we do that, let's take a quick look at Jenny's flavor text on her adventure for Forgotten Knowledge. It felt as if the mysterious author of these crumbling parchments knew what was to befall me and was desperately trying to help me from beyond the grave. Okay, anyway. Now Diana's over to Test of Faith. So let's go ahead and zoom in on our redeemed cultist. Grab our 6 green dice, and we'll see about rolling this Test of Faith out. So remember, we need 6 investigation, and then 3 investigation and a peril. Well, there's the 3 and a peril. And now we just need to roll a total of 6 investigation to be done with this adventure. 2, 4, that's not what I wanted to see, so we'll focus. Actually, we'll just roll it again. I was tempted to focus the 2, which I probably should have done, but 3 and 2, so yeah, I really should have focused that, but I'll focus the 3 now. If I had, I would have been done right now with this. And we roll the 2 again. So, unfortunately, Diana's turning into another investigator that isn't worth much this game. And Diana is now cursed. So just as a reminder of how being cursed works. She adds the black die, and the black die eats a result. We discard this if she's successful, if she's blessed, or when the Ancient One awakens. Right. So, we'll flip Diana's mini card over. And then that... Ow. Will be 6 o'clock to Carolyn. I think we'll send Carolyn over. First at the start of her turn, she will heal herself for 1 sanity. So we'll get her a sanity over to Carolyn. And then where are we sending Dr. Fern? I think we're going to send her... We do have the research materials, which I will probably end up using. I think we'll bring her back down here because I want to try to start cycling some of these easier adventures. But I'm getting ahead of myself there, so once again we'll grab our 6 green dice. And we'll go ahead and do some rolling, see if she gets a better result than Diana does. There's the 3 and a peril once again, and I think Carolyn's probably going to have a better shot at this. But we'll find out. Alright, we'll do that, and this time we are going to focus the 2 on Diana, just to keep our options somewhat open. Three and 1, that'll work nicely. So now 6 investigation, which means Carolyn is now blessed. So just like Jenny, she'll get the white die, which acts as an extra green. And then for a test of faith, sometimes it really is as simple as choosing to do evil or choosing to do good. So that'll move over to Carolyn, giving her a trophy value of 2. Then Diana and Carolyn will move up to the entrance. And we need a new adventure. We find the Curator. Oh dear. At midnight, each investigator must either spend 2 trophies or lose 1 and 1. We need all the lore. We need 3 lore, and then we need 3 lore and 3 investigation. Succeeding gets you a clue, a common item, and an elder sign. Failing loses you 2 sanity. This is one instance where I wish I still had the Eye of Ra. But anyway, that is 9 o'clock to Akachi, and ultimately I think we're going to have to let that go off, because we don't have the lore to stop that. So I think we just send Akachi. Where is a decently easy adventure for her to sink her teeth into? Maybe try Vermin in the Pipes, I guess? Just to get her some items? Yeah, I think we'll do that. And then we'll zoom in on Akachi. Unfortunately, we have exactly no items, so we need a somewhat easy adventure for Akachi to manage. So let's see how we do with this one. Well, I like one of the results I see there. I'll take the 3 and the peril, thank you very much. Then we just need to roll 2 more instances of 3 investigation. There's 1 3. Let's see if we can get there with the other one. That worked very easily. So now that gives Akachi a clue. There's the clue going to Akachi, and she gets 2 common items, which I have way too many of, but we just need the top 2. There we go. First up, Akachi finds a Molotov cocktail, which gives her a yellow die, and dog sled, discard before any investigator rolls dice to give them the yellow die. So we can give the yellow die to somebody else who we think needs it. But anyway, we'll get all of those off. We'll take a look at the flavor text for Vermin in the Pipes. Large rats occasionally wander into the museum, drawn by the impending chaos. Trophy value of 2 for Akachi, and then we find, as a replacement adventure, let me get Akachi off of there. Gate to Elsewhere, 2 trophies, lore for days. So we need 1 and then an instance of 2, but our next Doom token is going to cover that up with a monster. 2 clues and an Otherworld adventure, which would probably give us a burst of Elder Signs, but anyway, oops. I had the dice tower over top of that, but anyway, the end of Akachi's turn brings us to midnight, and that'll bring us back up top into the Mythos Phase. Okay, going into the Mythos phase here, we have to remember the next Doom is going to spawn a monster, and we do have a spot right here where that can go. So we find a monster appears. So strange sights, a monster appears. Blocking the yellow die. Oh joy. When we need a lore to complete it and we're not going to have the yellow die, we find a fire vampire with a trophy value of 1. Oh joy. Of a poisonous trap. The next time the clock strikes midnight, all investigators lose 2 stamina. That's a bit of a problem. So I was going to send Jenny over to the curator to try to clear that out, but... I might still have to do that, but I've got the Voice of Ra for mitigation, and I've got a clue to reroll, so... yeah, I think... Do I send her over there anyway? I think... Well, let's get the yellow die up there locked. I think I do send her up there, actually. I think she's probably our best chance. With a clue to reroll and a Voice of Ra to change a result to any face I need, I think she's our best chance to get rid of the curator. So, we'll actually flip everybody over. Then I will bring Jenny down to the curator, and we'll zoom in on Jenny. I did almost forget the at midnight effect. Fortunately, each investigator has 2 trophies to spend, because losing 1 and 1 would put Diana down to 2 sanity, and that's a pretty dangerous place to be. But anyway, coming back to Jenny, she will discard the warding statue to get the red die, since again, the yellow die is locked on the fire vampire. So anyway, we've got the 6 green dice, the red, and the white, because she is still blessed. And hopefully we can get scrolls for days here. Plus we've got a clue token that we can toss into this if we need to reroll. That looks like 3 scrolls. That'll work very nicely. So we'll do that. And then now I've got 3 rolls to get this naturally, because I can discard my Voice of Ra to change 1 result to a die of to change 1 die to the result of my choice. Or I could just roll it naturally and save it for when I really need it. But anyway, we are clear of that adventure, so that gets Jenny another clue. Another common item, so she finds an old journal which gives her the yellow die, which gives her another way to get the yellow die, which is still locked behind that fire vampire. And our second elder sign. So now we're basically even with Nyarlathotep right now. So there is our second elder sign going up to Nyarlathotep. And that replaces the 2 trophies that she just spent to prevent the stamina and sanity loss. Then replacing that adventure, Remains of the High Priest for 1. And I forgot to look at the flavor text on the curator. He was charming, articulate, and unmistakably evil. For what he had done, he could not be allowed to live. And Jenny took care of him pretty easily. Anyway. Remains of the High Priest. With a terror, discard all dice showing terror results. That's before you... So the way a terror result works, I think I mentioned this earlier, is when you roll dice and you get a terror result, but you fail to complete a task, this effect goes off before you discard any other dice. So basically you'd have to So basically you'd have to discard all your dice showing tarot results and then discard again on top of that. So anyway, you get a peril for that. You need a peril for that, then a lore and 6 investigation. Succeeding gets you a clue and a spell. Failing loses you a sanity. So that's not terrible. Now, for Diana, where could we send her? She's going to have effective 5 dice because of being cursed. So I think we're going to send Diana down to the gate to elsewhere just to try to clear... Oh! No, never mind. That didn't get us an Otherworld adventure. But if Diana can clear gate to elsewhere, that will. So anyway, let's move down to Diana. Should be a fairly easy adventure, but we still are going to have a bit of a problem because the black die is in there. And just as a recollection on how curse works, if we have a matching result to the black die, we eat that die. But thankfully, it's only once for the entire adventure. Like these well, I'll go ahead and spend our clue token to re-roll everything. We'll keep the let's re-roll the black die as well. Okay, we do still have a peril, so that gets eaten. Come on. There we go. We'll grab the lore so we can at least defeat the fire vampire and release that die. And we roll the 2 research, and we roll the 2 lore. So Diana does get to discard her curse, thankfully. She gets the fire vampire as a trophy for 1. Amid the flames, I could see something small coming closer to me. So she'll get a clue token for that, for defeating that. She'll get another 2 from the reward on the adventure. And then we'll get our first Otherworld adventure. So that'll move over to Diana as a trophy value of 2, bringing her up to 3. We'll move that. We'll replace this adventure, then we'll get our Otherworld adventure. So replacing that... Be the gift shop for 1, and I forgot to look at the Gate to Elsewhere flavor text. I am such a derp at that. At first, the portrait's colors simply seemed deeper and richer, but soon it was apparent that the facade had become a reality, and the canvas had been replaced by a doorway. And looking at the gift shop, we have an ordered task here for 1. That's what the arrow means. We need a 3 research, and then lore and 3 research. Succeeding gets you a unique item, failing gets you a sanity. And then our first Otherworld adventure, which will deal with Akachi's special ability in a minute, gives us a trip to the abyss. Oh boy, all the symbols. So we need a terror and a peril, and a monster can go there. Then we need 2 lore and a peril. Succeeding gets us 2 elder signs, a scroll, a spell, and a unique item. Failing loses 2 sanity and a stamina. And then Akachi's special ability triggers, where once per day when an Otherworld card is drawn, one investigator of Akachi's choice may recover 1 sanity and 1 stamina. That'll bring anybody, except for Akachi actually, surprisingly, up to full strength. So, I'm going to let Akachi heal for 1 and 1. So that'll bring her up to 5 sanity and full stamina. So that's moving over to Akachi. And then that brings us, that should have actually brought us to 6 o'clock. I forgot to advance the clock for Jenny's turn. So 6 o'clock to Carolyn, huh? Well, for her turn, I think Carolyn is going to heal... I think Carolyn's going to heal Diana up to full sanity. So there's the brain going over to Diana. And then what is Carolyn doing? I think Carolyn... I'm probably gonna plan on sending Jenny to the Abyss next turn, but we're actually going to send Carolyn up to the mysterious puzzle box. So let's go ahead and zoom in on Carolyn. On entry to the mysterious puzzle box, 2 monsters appear. So the plan here is I'm hopefully going to make the Abyss a lot easier, but let's find out. But I can choose where these monsters go when they come out. First up, oh boy, we find something locking the red die, but we need a peril we need 2 instances of a peril or a stamina, and that is a warlock for 0 trophies. Return this marker to the cup and gain 2 clue tokens. I think I am going to put that over the Abyss just to make that a little bit easier. It does lock the red die, but that's fine because I can give Jenny just the yellow die, and I still have plenty of mitigation. And then this one is going to be going over the gift shop, over the 3 research of the gift shop, so we'll find oh boy, something that's going to take 3 health to defeat. This looks like a Diana monster. And 2 peril, that's a problem. A Gug, oh joy. So that made the gift shop a little bit harder and quite a bit more painful, but this should be a fairly... I don't want to jinx it, but this feels like it should be a fairly easy Elder Sign. At the cost of a monster, but I think we can still deal with that. So all we need to get is a lore and 6 rolls. Just like that. Nice and easy. So that brings us up to... That'll bring us up to 3 Elder Signs. Carolyn to a trophy value of... to 2 more trophies to a trophy value of, well, 2. Then we'll replace that before we draw the monster. So replacing that... Something is broken free, and once again, I keep forgetting to look at this. I had been warned against opening it, but that only made its allure stronger. And then we do have a spot where we can place a monster, which we will be. On a terror, you immediately fail this adventure. You need a peril for now, but the monster we're spawning is going over top of that, and 2 terror. Succeeding gives you a monster, a clue token, a spell, and a unique item. Failing loses you a sanity. So we'll get the monster for that. Whoa. This looks like a problematic monster. 4 investigation, an instance of a peril or a lore, and a peril or a terror. The thing in the... oh boy. The thing in the yellow mask, it's a mask monster. Oh joy. That made that adventure very difficult. But anyway, now into the clock phase. We're at 9 o'clock to Akachi. And I forgot to roll Carolyn's white die. Oh well. Just for argument's sake. Yeah, it didn't really matter because we had the lore anyway to clear that adventure. So, yeah, I did forget to roll Carolyn's white die on that, but anyway. So now 9 o'clock to Akachi. We can get the yellow die now that we've unlocked it. So I think we're going to bring her to... I think we bring her to... Do we bring her to Strange Robberies and try to get another Elder Sign on the board? Actually, it's not a terrible idea. Unfortunately, she doesn't have any mitigation for that, but... Or do we try to clear out that Beast of Research? Or that Beast of Investigation? So... Actually, that might be a good one for Carolyn to do. So I think we are going to bring Akachi down to Strange Robberies, and we'll zoom in on Akachi. On entry, Akachi will lose 1 and 1. So there's the 1 and 1 coming off of Akachi. And I will discard the Molotov cocktail because I'm thinking she's probably going to need the yellow die on this one. Where is the lid for the cup? Ah, here we go. And remember, we need 4 investigation, and then 2 peril and a lore. We get the 4 investigation right off the bat. Then we need 2 peril and a lore. And I do have a clue for a reroll, which I might need. Which I will gladly use. See if we can get something good out of that. To lore, but that's not what I'm after. This has got both dice, both faces on it. So I'll discard the terror, focus 1 of the lore on Akachi, and then I need 2. And then yes, I need 2. Now I need 2 perils. Which that is not, so this is it. And we fail the adventure, which is unfortunate because that puts another doom up and spawns another monster. Right, so it'll put a doom up, and that's the reason it'll put another monster on the board. So there's the doom going up to the track. Monster coming out, and our problems are about to get a lot worse because I was looking at I was refreshing my memory on the Mythos card. Okay, so we find... Oh boy. We need a peril, or terror, a lore, and then 1 of either. This is a vampire. Oh joy. And because there are no monster tasks, I have to put it in addition to something, which I'll put it on Remains of the High Priest, and I'm just never planning on going there. But, yeah. So, that brings us to midnight on the clock. First thing I'll do is make sure the investigators all lose 2 stamina, which is going to hurt our team quite badly. Because it brings Jenny, Carolyn, and Akachi all down to 1 stamina, so I need to be very careful with them. And Diana's down to 3 stamina. She's not real happy herself either, but in more pressing and probably more dangerous concerns, that'll bring us back up top for the Mythos phase. Yeah, this game just is getting a lot more... It's starting to get away from us a little bit, but anyway. Our Mythos card here. Oh boy, the stars align, add 1 doom to the doom track, which fortunately is just doom right now. So there's that. To bring sickness. All adventure cards have an additional 1 health penalty today. Yikes. This almost feels like it might be a good turn to pass and rest and maybe rest up a little bit. Right. Just because one sanity one stamina would defeat most of my team right now. So I think that actually is what we're going to do. So Jenny's going to pass the turn at the entrance. Yeah, we definitely need to not get our investigators killed. So Jenny's going to pass her turn and regain a health. I think everybody will pass their turn up at the entrance. So Diana will also gain a health. Carolyn will gain a health, and she'll restore Akachi 1 sanity. And then Akachi will also pass the turn up at the entrance and gain a stamina. So pretend I advanced the clock and we're right into another Mythos phase. I didn't want to face that. I didn't want to deal with that additional 1 health penalty. Anyway, let's get our next Mythos card. We don't have any other at midnight effects. A warning, there is no immediate effect today of grave danger. All adventure cards have an additional doom penalty on them. Yikes. That's another one where we would have no margin for error, so Akachi should actually be up at the entrance as well. Can we deal with the doom penalty a little bit better? Probably. We do have 5 doom up, but the problem there is if we fail 3 adventures, basically if we fail 3 adventures, Nyarlathotep would wake up and we'd have to fight him immediately. The question is, do we try it? The question is, do we tempt fate on that? Because we kind of got away with one there. But our team is still, I would say, not completely out of the woods yet. This is a decision to make, though. Do we just... I think... This is another tough one. So with an additional doom penalty, like I said, failing 3 adventures wakes Nyarlathotep up. Would we try to fight it out at that point, or... I'm going to look at something. Okay, so... We would need clue tokens badly if we were going to try to fight Nyarlathotep after he wakes up. So... we just pass and take another heal up turn? I think we do, actually. Just basically take another free turn and get the team healed back up a little bit. So Jenny will gain a health for free, as will Diana. Carolyn, and she'll also heal Akachi back to full sanity, and then Akachi will heal a health. So she's back up to 3. And then our next Mythos card. Once again, pretend I was advancing the clock all the time there. A warning. There's no immediate effect today of a curse. All task requirements and penalties that cause an investigator to lose sanity or stamina are increased by 1. Okay, that's not terrible. Except it means the gift shop is off limits, because that would, well... Unless I think Diana could clear it, and I don't think she can. But I think now we have to bite the bullet here. So, we're going to send... I think we are going to send Jenny now down to the abyss at last. Because I've been waiting on wanting to do that. So let's go ahead and drop down to Jenny. Jenny will toss her 38 revolver to give her the yellow die, since the red die is still locked, and I can leave Akachi... I can leave the dog sled on Akachi for when I really need it. But anyway, she's still blessed, and I've got clues to reroll, so let's go ahead and give this a shot. 2 Elder Signs will give us a huge jolt if we can pull it off. Okay, that looks like 2 lore and a peril. Where is the peril? There it is. And now I need 2 instances of a peril or a terror. Which that looks very much like that. So, Jenny will clear that. The red die is now unlocked, but I think she is probably the only one who can use it, really. So, the Warlock actually goes back to the cup, but Jenny gets 2 clue tokens in return. So 2 clue tokens to Jenny. A spell, which means Jenny will find. Vision Quest, which lets her lock a die. And 2 more Elder Signs, bringing us up to 5. So we're at 5 of 11 Elder Signs against Nyarlathotep. And then that, Jenny moves to the entrance. And 2 trophy value for the Abyss. Let's look at the flavor text. In the darkness between dimensions, it was there that my quest was nearly ended. Horrid things of nightmare clutched at me, unseen since they, thankfully, shied away from my lantern. Anyway, on a related note, that brings Jenny up to 11 trophies for now. So we do have an Elder Sign in the bag, which I need to very much keep an eye on that, but where is Diana going this turn? I think, now we have to do the clock phase rather than, that'll be 3 o'clock over to Diana. Looking at the board right now, I still like the Vision of Demise, just to try to get a particularly dangerous Mythos card out of the way, but 2 lore and then 2 terror is hard to get. Especially with 3 clues to get, it should be doable. So, although she's got 3 trophies, spending them would give her a unique item, but I think we are going to try bringing her down to... Yeah, we're going to bring her down to Vision of Demise. She can take the 3 sanity, or she can take the 2 sanity loss. So let's drop down to Diana. Given the precision of what we're looking for, I'm going to have Akachi discard the dog sled to give Diana the yellow die, because we're looking for what is actually a very difficult roll. I'm going to give Diana the yellow die and throw more dice at this problem. Plus, Diana's got clues that I can use to mitigate this. Which I will use. I'll use one of her clues. I'll roll everything but the lore. Come on. Where did that extra... Oh, I think I have 3 things here. Never mind. Knock it off. Or we just roll the second lore naturally. So, I'll actually take those 2 lore. And we'll go ahead and throw these back in the cup. Now I want to see terrors. Not something you're going to hear me say every day, but I will use a clue to reroll again. We'll reroll everything here. We'll put that through the tower. And we'll reroll everything again. Now that we need terror, we can't roll it to save our lives. Okay, we'll discard that, and then we'll focus the terror on Diana, and we've got 3 shots to roll another terror. Actually, did the yellow die... I'm going to look at the yellow die, see if it had a... The yellow die actually doesn't have a terror face on it, so I'm going to discard that instead. Good thing I checked it again. Discard a green die. Discarded one of my lore. You gotta be kidding me, Diana. Come on. No, we fail that again. So Diana's gonna lose 2 sanity, but I'm gonna have her lose only 1, because at the start of Carolyn's turn, I'm just kind of shortcutting this a little bit. Because it's 6 o'clock to Carolyn. At the start of Carolyn's turn, she will heal Diana for 1 sanity. Yeah, that actually really hurt. So, I think we'll bring Carolyn down to Late Night Break-In, mostly because I want to try to clear that mask monster, the black man, off the board. So let's move down to Carolyn. Alright, Carolyn is still blessed, so she has the white die among her pool. She can do this, in theory, in 5 dice, but we'll see how that goes. I do have research materials if I need it, and odds are I will. Let's bring the dice tower into shot, and I'll re-roll that. There we are. So remember, I need 9 investigation and advance the clock, and then 6. My priority is trying to take the monster out. Oop. I think that fell out of the tower. Okay, on a terror effect, I do have to discard a trophy of her choice. I only have the mysterious puzzle box, so that goes away because, well, actually no. I will toss the... I hate doing it this early, but I will toss the research materials to make one of those... What is that? To change the die to its highest investigation result. So that will be a 3, and we'll complete that. Just so I don't have the terror effect go off yet. And then we need 9, and we'll have to advance the clock to complete the adventure. Or to kill the monster. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're 1 short. I'll discard that and focus the 3 on Carolyn. And then I need to get at least 6 investigation here. And in 2 rolls, I need to get at least 6 investigation. 2, 4, 5. We're 1 short again. So discard. I wish I could discard on another player's turn, but I have to discard the 1, and both of these need to be 3s or Carolyn fails the adventure, which will cost her 2 health. Which is very unfortunate. So Carolyn loses 2 health, fails the adventure, which brings her down to 1, so I'll probably need to send her back to the entrance to heal. And then we are at 9 o'clock to Akachi. Looking at the board right now, there really is not much that she can do out there. Because she's got no stuff, and she's got nothing out there. No trophies to get more items. Do I just try to get lucky and bring her down to strange robberies? Yeah, I think that's probably our only choice here. All task requirements and penalties. I don't think that affects entry requirements, though, but anyway, we'll pretend that it doesn't, so we'll zoom in on Akachi. Also, Carolyn loses her blessing, which is unfortunate, but anyway. Akachi, let me move that dice tower just a little bit. There we go. Zoom in here. Entry, she'll lose 1 and 1. Alright, and then we'll get the dice into her cup. Unfortunately, she only has the 6 green dice, and she can only afford to miss once. Which that, thankfully, that's the result I was hoping to see, because I was hoping to get that clear first. So now we just have to roll 4 investigation again in 2 rolls. Ask, and ye shall receive. So that gives Akachi a common item. 1 common item. We find 45 automatic, which gives her a yellow die. Very welcome right at the moment. And it also gives us our 6th Elder Sign. That will move over to Akachi with a trophy value of 3. Then we'll take a look at the flavor text before we replace it. If my investigations were accurate, the thieves would be here tonight, and I would be ready for them. So that'll move over to Akachi with a trophy value of 3. Bring the dice tower out of shot. And the Medusa exhibit. Terror, discard all dice showing terror results. First we need a terror and lose 1 sanity, then a lore and lose 1 sanity, and 7 investigation. Succeeding gets us a monster, spawns a monster, gets us a spell, a common item, and an elder sign. Failing loses 2 sanity. But anyway, now that brings us back down. That brings us back to midnight, and it brings us back up top for the Mythos phase. Mythos card time, we find horrible monsters. Either add 1 doom token to the doom track, or 2 monsters appear. Adding a doom token would put another monster out on the board, and we've got nowhere to put him right now, so it's just going to go over top of an adventure. I know, well, actually we have to put it on either Vision of Demise or Medusa Exhibit, and I don't really want to put it on Medusa Exhibit. So I'm going to add a Doom and only have 1 monster come out, because we're covering up a monster icon on Nyarlathotep's track. We're going to put this over... We're going to put this on Vision of Demise, and that's probably where I'm sending... That's almost certainly where I'm sending Jenny this turn. So the monster we find... Oh joy, the Teller of Tales is another mask monster. We have 3 of them out right now. This one takes... Oh, come on. 2 lore and a terror. Great. We need to get that thing off the board pronto. Reveal a secret. The next time the clock strikes midnight, each investigator gains 1 clue token. Right. So, where are we sending Jenny? Right now the board is just a complete mess. I don't think we had another terror result for Carolyn, so... I'm not going to worry about that. Jenny's still blessed, so she's got 9 dice. I've got 4 rerolls and a lock. And I can change the die result. I'm actually tempted to send Jenny down to help Diana, because I either send Jenny down to help Diana or Carolyn. Honestly, right now, I think Jenny's the only investigator who's really doing anything in this game. So I think we send her down to Vision of Demise to help Diana out of this. So yeah, let's drop down to Jenny and see if she can maybe with help from Diana, get out of this. We'll discard the old journal to Jenny's trust fund to get the red and yellow dice. So we can change the die. We've got a spell that we can use to lock a die, and we've got 4 clues. So if we're ever going to clear this adventure, Jenny, now is the time. Well, for starters, I will take the 2 lore and the terror and get that monster off the board right away. That way it's not going to cause us problems. Oop. As the dice go flying. That's not what I wanted to see, but oh well. So at the very least, the monster's off the board, thank God. There's 2 lore, which I will take that. And now we need to see 2 terror. And like I said, I've got clues. I've got clues I can throw into this if I need to. Clue number, we'll start using clue. Actually, if I get 1 terror, I can use Voice of Ra to clear this. So 1 clue into a reroll. Second clue will be going into a reroll. A wild and Voice of Ra will get us there. So I'll discard Voice of Ra to change the green die to a terror, and then we'll clear that. So that will give Jenny a spell to replace Voice of Ra. She gets Mist of Relay, which is just to secure a die. And it'll give us our 7th Elder Sign, which is effectively 8, because remember, Jenny can take a turn off and buy... Jenny can take a turn off to buy an Elder Sign. Of course, there's a dilemma there because she seems to be the only investigator. We'll take a look at the we'll look at the flavor text here, and then I'll finish my thought about Jenny. Its maw was a horrifying mass of teeth. Goes back to the cup. Let's hope to bury that thing deep. And then the vision of demise for another 2 trophies. In that awful vision, I fell and did not rise again. So that'll bring Jenny up to a trophy value now of 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 13. So we're at effectively 8 Elder Signs right now, because Jenny can buy an Elder Sign at the entrance if I take a turn off. The dilemma there is that she's the only investigator who seems to be doing anything in this game. But anyway, our next adventure is a Midnight Visitor. Oh joy. Terror loses stamina. We need 2 peril, and then 2 peril, a terror, and lose 1 stamina, I should say. Right. So that gives us 3 o'clock to Diana. So where do I want to send Miss Stanley? She's got exactly nothing right now, so tooling her up a little bit wouldn't be a terrible idea. So I think she is going to pass the turn in the... entrance. And she is going to buy a souvenir, I think. So she's going to spend 2 of her trophies to get a common item. So Diana finds suitcase of cash with a trophy value of 3. And then that will be 6 o'clock to Carolyn, and Carolyn has got a trophy value of 2. I think she will also... Well, first of all, she's going to heal... Actually, healing anybody for sanity right now. Actually, yeah, she's going to heal Jenny for 1 sanity, because everybody's close to full strength, and like I said, Jenny's our only investigator who's worth anything in this game, apparently. Carolyn's actually going to move to the entrance and heal a stamina because she is in very rough shape. That'll bring her up to 2 stamina. And that'll bring us to 9 o'clock to Akachi, who, with a trophy value of 2... Actually, she's got 3 trophies right now. She's going to grab a... I could bring her down to Medusa Exhibit and try to clear that, but once again, repeat after me, Jenny's going to be our best bet on that. With a trophy value of 3, I think Akachi is just going to grab a unique item as a unique item. So for a unique item, Akachi will find Lamp of Alhazred to give her the red die. So now we've got dice galore, but that will also bring us to midnight and bring us back up top for the Mythos Phase. In a little better news at midnight for once, each investigator will also get a clue token, which will bring everybody except Jenny up to 1. Jenny will be at 3 clue tokens. So our next Mythos card. Strange Sights. Oh boy, a monster appears. So we have to spawn a monster, and we can put this anywhere. Once again, I'm not going to cover up Medusa Exhibit with it. I got a glimpse at something I didn't like. We find the Dark Pharaoh with a mask as a mask monster, which needs 3 lore. Fantastic! And I'm going to put it over Midnight Visitor. Great. Before the storm, the next time the clock strikes midnight, add 2 doom tokens to the track. That is a big time problem. So, we need to get moving. We need to start cycling some of these adventures way out of the way. So, we're at effectively 8 Elder Signs right now. Honestly, I think Jenny is probably our best bet to go after the Medusa Exhibit. So, I don't want to spawn another monster. That Terror and Peril is going to cost her 1 sanity. Oh boy. We're just finding all the nasty... Oh, we could send Akachi down there. I think Jenny is probably going to have to go deal with the Midnight Visitor as much as I don't want to. But we need to get that mask monster off the board because he just made that adventure almost impossible. So, let's move down and see what Jenny can do with it. This could actually... I forgot about the penalties. This could put us in a very bad way. Because if we fail, we put another doom up, and then at midnight we're 1 doom away from waking up Nyarlathotep, which could easily come out on a Mythos card. So basically I'm going to toss a clue in to get the red and yellow dice, and Jenny has exactly... and we cannot mess this up. Jenny, this is not the time to do anything cute. This is just the time to get this done. We'll take the terror and the... We'll take the peril and the terror and lose 1 stamina from that. So that's one down, 2 to go. I'm probably going to have to burn clues to get that Dark Pharaoh off the board. Yeah, we'll spend a clue. I'll keep the skull and we'll keep the skull in the wild. That was a skull. It just flipped as, wait. I think I think one of the greens was actually a skull. I was just looking at the die I was pulling out. It must have flipped on me, but I did have a green skull in there when I rolled. Okay, we'll go skull on... do I want to go skull, or do I want to go... Or do I want to try to re-roll the lore? I think I'm just going to go skull, and I'll spend a clue on the next re-roll. So that's going to lose me the wild, which I'm actually going to secure the wild to one of my spells. I'll secure it to Vision Quest. I need to get lore. I need to get 2 more lore here. Spending my last clue to re-roll that. That's unfortunate, so I'll discard that. And I'll re-roll these. Oh no. Terror loses her stamina. So basically, I may have just screwed us on this. So I'll discard the terror. I may have just screwed up on this badly. Yeah, this did not work at all. So Jenny loses a stamina and she's devoured. That was very problematic. So that'll put a doom token on the... So that'll put a doom up on Nyarlathotep's track. Actually, that'll put 2 up. 1 for Jenny getting devoured, and 1 for covering up another doom. And we're looking at a midnight now, where Nyarlathotep is just going to wake up. So here's the question I face now. We've already lost the Summer of Lovecraft, and this ended up being a little bit more of a fight than I thought it would be. So the question now becomes, do I just tap out and call it a campaign? Here's the thing. I'm going to be replacing somebody for 1 turn, basically effectively for 1 round, because Nyarlathotep's going to wake up next time we hit midnight. So if I get a replacement and they don't happen to start with a clue token, they're going to get devoured right away. So... yeah, I think... And I see nothing out here that's going to help us cover up... that's going to help us take Doom off, so Nyarlathotep's waking up anyway, and we can't stop it. So... Well, I think... So yeah, once again, that's the situation we're in. Nyarlathotep's going to wake up, and if I happen to not bring somebody in who's got clue tokens to start with, they're just going to get devoured the first time Nyarlathotep attacks us. So we are in a very bad situation, and unfortunately that locked red die is also gone because Jenny got devoured. So... we'll see what her epitaph is just out of sheer curiosity. So we've got these cards. Like if this epitaph here pours gasoline on the fire, I'm just going to tap out here because the game will effectively be over at that point. So there's our epitaph for Jenny, we find. At final rest, our friend's dying words led us to this hidden journal. Perhaps the blood rite described therein can save us all. Each surviving investigator gains a clue token and loses 1 stamina. Let's see how that would affect us. Clue tokens all around and loses a stamina. That would bring Akachi and Carolyn both down to 1. So the only one who would even have a turn at this point without needing to heal is probably Diana. And honestly, is there even anything we could really do to get out of this mess? Because Diana's rolling her 6 green dice. Is there anything she can even complete on the board right now? I don't. Okay, she can't do that. That would be tricky. That's doable, but 1 terror with a lot of terror results messes us up. That would be doable, but drain her like nobody's business. That would stop her cold on a terror, and that's just what killed Jenny. She can't clear that. Akachi and Carolyn would both have to heal stamina, and Nyarlathotep is still just going to wake up at midnight. So I don't think there's even anything on the board Diana can physically complete. Actually, something is broken free. Something that is broken free, she'd have to get all 6 dice on that. So I think we are just going to tap out there and call it a campaign, unfortunately. So let's move back up top to wrap this video up. With that, the 2022 Summer of Lovecraft comes to an end. So we tapped out once I realized that Nyarlathotep was going to wake up. And we're just going to end up replacing Jenny. If we'd have to get lucky, with somebody who starts off with a clue. Otherwise, they'd be devoured the first time Nyarlathotep attacks. So we are going to tap out and call it a game and a campaign there. So we got shut out pretty hard in this year's Summer of Lovecraft. But sometimes that's just the way it goes in the Arkham Files. But before I transition into the outro proper, I want to talk a little bit more about featuring these games on the channel. I really do enjoy playing these 3 games, but as you can probably guess, featuring them on the channel is a pain in the neck. The shortest playthrough will very likely end up being this one, where Eldritch Horror ended up running over 4 hours and I had to split it, and Arkham Horror 2nd Edition wasn't too far behind, clocking in just over 3 hours. Still, I might try to feature some more exhibition playthroughs of these games outside of the Summer of Lovecraft or Christmas in Arkham, probably around holiday weekends where I'm not tied into a heavy work week. Of the 3, Elder Sign will probably be the easiest to feature, but I do want to feature the others a little bit more. My schedule's booked this year, but next year I'll try to get an exhibition play of each game in. Next week, we're going to take a very small break from the Cthulhu Mythos, as we step from one campaign that's over, where we got hammered, to another in peril. We're going to step back into the background campaign for Hero Realms. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.